chasing, and fear was something we went out of our way for.
From her debut album Breakwall, that's Ansley Simpson and Quay, changing into Thunderbird. This is Unreserved on CBC Radio 1, Sirius XM, and Native Voice 1. I'm Rosanna Deerchild. Debbie Paul is now 66 years old. She still remembers Mrs. Rome, the only adult, Debbie says, who showed her any kindness after she'd been uprooted from her First Nation and her family as a child. Mrs. Rome, as Debbie knew her, lived up the street from the home Debbie was forced to live in Rockland, Massachusetts. Her name is Mary Shanklin now, and she no longer lives in Massachusetts, but right here in Canada. She is 93. Hello, Mary.
That's me.
And hello, Debbie.
Hello.
Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Well, let's just dive right into this. I was so moved by both your story and your reunion and the love that you have shown each other. I mean, I cried like a baby. So,
well, we cried too.
Absolutely, I know. We were all crying together. What was it like for you, Debbie, to see and hear from Mrs. Rome again?
You know, I thought Mrs. Rome passed away, but she didn't. And when I heard she was alive and they got a hold of her and she changed her name back to her maiden name and that,
yeah,
I couldn't believe it. I was astonished. I said, oh, my God, where is she? I want to see her. I want to reach out and love her and hug her. And, I just wanted to just thank her so much for what that love she gave me, was enough for me, for all my adventures that I went through in my life. But I hung on to that love. I hung on to her memory, and because of her, I don't think I would be the person I am today, because she showed me love. She opened up her heart, and that's hard to do when you're talking about a residential school child, because they kind of don't trust. They don't trust white people too much,
No, you have reason to feel that way.
Yeah.
Now, you obviously have some very dark memories from the school and from your time in Massachusetts, Debbie, but there was also love and there was also joy, and there was those moments where you felt safe and welcome, and that was in Mrs. Rome's house. What kinds of things did you do at her house?
She would let me play the piano. I love the piano, I played with the girls outside, and she invited me to dinner. That was the most, I couldn't believe. I'm an Indian girl. I'm a child. I'm an Indian, and you don't expect to be invited to people's houses. I never did.
But you see, Debbie, to us, you were not, and I don't use the word Indian, but an Indian girl. You were a child.
A child. I was a
like
child
the other
first.
children. You were a child.
Child first. But a lot of people, went through life, and you're not. You're not. You're an object to do whatever the adult wanted.
Yeah.
That's the sad truth.
Yeah.
A child doesn't have the choices of no power. You're helpless. You need care. And yeah, that's what the Rome kids had care. And when you were with us, you were the same as the Rome kids. We ate together. If you want to play the piano, play the piano. If you want to climb the apple tree, climb the apple tree,
Yeah.
And do you remember what Debbie was like as a child, Mary?
She was just like my Leslie and Amy and, Jonathan and the Dolan and the Kathleen across the street and Patricia, and I name all the little names. Oh, it was a neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And the people were good people. I suppose it's naive of me not to think there could be somebody, but I didn't know anything like I know now about John Wentworth. He just worked at the post office, and and I didn't know. I feel guilty. I somehow didn't know, but should have known. Maybe I don't how I would have known. She was good at hiding things, of course. With fear, you hide anything.
Yep.
Beatings? No. I just wish I'd known. I wish I'd known, and if I'd known, I would hope I would have done something. I know I would have. I know. I'm sure I would have.
This is the path I was meant to take, for lessons, life lessons to pass on to people. And this is what my journey talking about in that. It's meant to be passed on to people.
I appreciate what you're saying now. That I appreciate that very, very much. But no child should be a victim to pass on values that we're missing. And
yeah, we lived in different times. Over 50 years ago, when I was there, different times now. When I was in that Indian residential school, Shamanagadi Indian residential school, I was there 5 years. Like I said, I was told, all these little kids were told not to talk about it, not to share. You were forbidden to tell anybody what was going on, or you would get a beating. And you learned under those conditions not to say anything. Even with me being the last child leaving, I had my aunt come over. She said, I wish I knew I would have taken you. We knew, but I never shared my story. We were shown not to talk, not to say anything, or you would get a beating. And those beatings that we got, they were a leather strap, nice thick leather strap. And we would get those beatings. And you didn't want a beating. And I just learned to shut my mouth. Not to say anything.
You coped with it. Oh.
Yeah.
You had no choice.
No choice. None.
And fear is a powerful emotion.
Yeah.
And especially in a child who has no power.
None.
You're a victim of whatever people around you do to you, for you, about you. The child takes the human child takes so long to mature. It needs such care. I spent my life in education with children, and I've seen a lot. And fear is a powerful, powerful tool if someone wants to implant it in someone and not to tell.
Yeah.
It works.
It does.
Works. Sure does.
Yeah.
And you didn't see anything like that. The Rome kids didn't see anything like that.
No.
And I figured everybody else was kind too. Oh, the Wentworths had taken you in. And I had a seed of anything. Maybe I didn't, look in your eyes and I would have seen it. But then you probably wouldn't have told me anyway.
No. No.
Yeah.
No.
You were good at covering up. Good at it.
Very good. Most of us kids in that residential school, that's what we were taught. Keep your mouth shut, and then when you get old enough and you try to say something, you would get beaten down. And I guess you beat a child down for so long, they just quit.
That's why you're such a miracle. You are a miracle. What you did with your life, because if you had a perfect. That's a funny word to use. You had a reason to sit in the corner in a fetal position and not do anything with your life at all. And you didn't. I've come to the conclusion through thinking more about connecting with you, and I've always kind of had seeds of thought of this because I've studied psychology and I'm a psychologist. Yeah. But anyway, you came something when you were born. It was in there already. That courage or grit or get up and do it, or I don't know how you didn't have any reason to even care to try. How could you trust anybody anymore? How could you any adult at all?
It took a lot.
It did take a lot. Mary, you had started telling me the story about the doll, and I'd love to hear the story about this doll that you held on to 50 years.
It's so cute, the doll, the little Indian doll. And for years and years, she had little plastic moccasins on. The first Christmas that you were gone, that doll came in the mail. And I sat with it and cried. I said, she sent me herself.
You know what I did to earn that doll? And when you showed it to me, I said, oh my God, I remember. But
what?
I scrubbed floors. I babysit people. This one man would let me iron his shirts for 25 cents each. You know, I picked bottles. I did things. I bought that doll. Then I had to go down to Shubenacadie and mail it. But that doll represents how, you know, to send it, to be a child and you scrub floors. And that's what I did. I babysit people's kids and for a little bit of money. And, you know, my mother and my stepfather drank too much and stuff. So I ended up doing a lot of babysitting and stuff. But that's what I did to send that doll to you. That doll is a journey. I have people who come to me and say, I can't believe she saved that doll. That doll represents everything.
Yep. I had that doll. She came with me. First, I moved to New Hampshire for a couple of years. And then I went back to Rockland again. And then I came to Canada years after that. And wherever I went, the doll always came. Oh, of course. Yeah. The doll that Debbie gave me. Yeah. That's my doll. And yeah, without her moccasin shoes.
Debbie, why did you do that? Why did you want to save up and send Mrs. Rome that doll?
I don't know. It was just the right thing to do, you know, and this is going to sound strange, but sometimes you can turn around and tell what somebody needs without even meeting them. You just feel it, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what I felt. I felt when I seen that doll, I bought it with my little bit of money I had, and I mailed it out. I remember that street so well, 86 Summit Street. I'll never
yeah.
You know, and I mailed that doll to Mrs. Rome at 86 Summit Street, Rockland. You know, I never knew it was going to get there. I had no idea, but I said, because I think in my heart, I knew that was the right thing to do. And I can't believe that this doll became a symbol. You know, it's a symbol of my journey, my life journey, I guess.
And you can't have it back either.
No. That's funny. Yeah, well, you know.
And now that you both have had some time to reflect since your first chat, is there anything else that you'd like to say to each other that you haven't yet?
Well, when I emailed you and I called you an elder. It's you could be old, but you cannot be an elder. You know, not everybody can be an elder, really, but you have that spirit. You taught. You have that good spirit. You have a good angel, a good spirit. And to me, you know, you gave of yourself. An elder will give of themselves, and that's what you did. So I always knew you by Mrs. Rome, but it was better for me to call you Elder Mary. But I didn't want to call you Mary without your permission. So I called you Elder. And to me, that means so much. That means more than anything to call you Elder. And it's
I love the sound of it. And I actually like the sound when you called me Mrs. Rome. It had been a long time since I'd been called Mrs. Rome. And it was good memories there too. So,
you know, I do want to come up and visit you and stuff, but I want to wait till this Omicron virus and we get the okay.
Oh, I know. Oh, I want you here. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, me too.
Okay.
I love you. I love you so much.
I love you too. I love you too. I love you more than you love me. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, sweetheart. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, indeed. I'm sure your next visit will be full of love and kindness. Thank you both for that conversation. It was beautiful and inspiring. That's Debbie Paul and her former neighbor, 93-year-old Elder Mary Shanklin. As for Debbie's 60 scoop claim, it's still in the appeals process. She is still waiting.